I just want to start off with just showing you this. This is where the bank is. Compares my store, and right there is the bank. That's the bank right there. That's the distance I go to take deposits into the bank. So I'm going to kind of go over it with you guys, and we're going to talk about the reasons why and how it happened. And right now we're going to be going back to the studio, back to the store with myself and Mark to tell you about what happened on August 20th, 2024 at the bank right across the street from my office. You heard the intro right now, and we need to talk about something. I've got Mark here with me, and Mark is he's my CCW instructor. We're going to go over our credentials really quick, and then we're going to talk about the incident that happened. But before that, we're going to go over some ground rules when it comes to dealing with critical incidents outside of your home or while you're in public. I'm Todd Cotta. I was 21 years as a deputy sheriff, Fresno County and Monterey County. I am a NRA certified pistol instructor. I'm a USCCA certified instructor. I'm also a training counselor for the USCCA. It means I get to train trainers into the CCW curriculum for the USCCA. I've competed before. I've done a lot of, I've probably trained several thousand, we've done about 20,000 students here now over the last 10 years, and a lot of those I've had to touch and work with, and I have taught CCW more times than I can count. It all led up to 2 days ago on the 20th of August 2024 for me, when it happened to me. Now tell us a little bit about yourself.
So, Mark Evans, worked with the Department of Corrections for 26 years. Was a trainer for the Department of Corrections, range master. I also did CPR and first aid, tactical response, alarm response, use of force, just about everything I taught within the Department of Corrections. And now, over the last 3 months or so, USCCA instructor. So
yeah, a little changing gears for you, isn't it?
Yeah.
But when I'm teaching CCW, one of the things I talk about is, do you wake up in the morning and say, I want to get into a car crash today?
No.
Right?
Yeah.
You never do that.
No.
Today is the day I get into a car crash. You never think about that.
Yeah.
And for me, I teach that and I preach that, because if something's going to happen to you, it's going to happen when you least expect it. It's going to happen on some Monday, I always say Tuesday, 75 degrees, light breeze, when you're thinking about everything else but your safety is when it's going to happen to you. So when it comes to being in your conditions, whether it's white, yellow, orange, red, or black, whatever the combinations are, when you are in public, we need you to be in condition yellow. And all that is paying attention, like you're driving on the road looking at your mirrors. Is that being paranoid?
No.
No, not being paranoid at all.
No.
But here's the problem. If you are not prepared, then you're going to miss stuff, or you're going to get hurt yourself. Yes. Just like when you're driving, defensive driving. There is such thing as being defensive when you are out in public, and that is condition yellow. We talk about it also in CCW, is always be a good witness. If you can help it, don't get involved. Don't be more of the problem.
Stay back in a safe distance.
Yeah, be a better witness than you are involved. Now, things change when it's your family, right?
True.
Things change when it is your world or your friends or your tight-knit group. We're talking about if you're a witness to something that you are not involved with whatsoever, you're better off to stay out of it. Like some guy goes into a grocery store, starts shooting, and you pull your gun out and start shooting.
Yeah.
Are you fixing the problem, or are you making the problem worse?
Making it worse.
Because we don't have the badge on. We don't have the official looking clothes on.
No.
If we bring a gun out, now we're with that guy.
Yeah.
So be careful when you're out and about, and if you see something going on, be a better witness. If you see a drunk driver, call the number, give the license plate, let him go on. You make the next right-hand turn and get out of there, because you do not want to be involved in this guy's thinking that you're a cop and he speeds up and kills somebody.
And definitely.
And then you have to ask yourself, when you get into one of those situations, are you willing to die or go to jail for what you're about to do? And it's simple. Are you willing to die or go to jail? And let's give an example of that, right? So you go out to your car and you're putting your stuff in the morning to go to work. You start your car up, it's cold in the morning, and you realize that you forgot your phone. How many of us have always forgot our phone in the house before we left?
Yeah.
Yeah, this guy
Happens.
right here all the
Or
time.
your coffee.
Yeah.
Something.
So there's nobody, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, there's nobody around. You go into your house real quick, let the car warm up, and you come back and there's somebody getting in your car. Are you going to grab your gun and start shooting your car?
Not if there's nobody in it but him. Call 911.
Right? You're just going to call 911, you can maybe get a picture, get your phone, get a picture, do whatever you got to do. You got your phone in your hand, you just got it, right?
Yeah.
But the exact same scenario, you put your baby seat in the back seat, buckle it in, and you go, oh man, my phone's just right there. Now somebody's getting in your car.
Yeah, that car don't leave your parking lot.
Exactly.
That car don't leave the house area.
Let's say you come home and you see that your front door is kicked in. Your whole family went out to dinner. There's nobody else in the house. You come in, you see your front door, your house kicked in. Are you going to grab your gun and run in there and clear your house?
No, if you're smart.
Nothing's going to happen.
There's nothing. I mean,
you're taking a huge risk doing that.
You are.
And if you call the cops, they will do it for you.
yeah.
That's what they're there for. But now you and your wife go out to dinner and you leave your daughter and your son at home and they're 14 and 16 years old and you come back to the house and that front door's kicked. Are you going to die or go to jail to get in that house as quickly as you can to find out what's going on?
Yeah, now you're going to go clear the room.
Right?
Yeah, while your wife sits in the car and calls 911.
Exactly.
So,
You see the difference between die and go to jail.
yeah.
Next one. If you find yourself in an incident where it's going haywire, you have 3 options. Avoid, escape, defend. Avoid, escape, defend. If you can avoid it, how much liability is there?
None.
Right.
You know, you're not going to get hurt. You
You're
don't
gonna
have
get
no
sued?
civil liability.
Yep.
So,
Going to go to jail?
no.
No. If you can escape from something, what are you going to do? Are you going to be, are you going to get sued? Are you going to get hurt or anything else like that? If you fall down,
I guess, yeah.
If you can escape,
But if you can escape it.
if you can escape, you can escape, right?
Yeah.
If you cannot, let's say you're with your family or your elderly parents and something like that, and it goes down,
Or you have no escape route.
or you're no escape route, now you have to defend.
Yes.
And when you defend like there's no tomorrow.
Yep.
These are the things we talk about in our CCW class. Now, when we talk about condition yellow, all we're talking about is paying attention when you're outdoors.
That's it.
Just pay attention.
Being aware of your surroundings.
You'll be safer as long as you're aware of what you're doing. I want to talk about what happened.
Okay.
2 days ago, my bank is literally across the street. I'm going to be showing some video of the scene and what's going on. We're not going to talk about my bank. We're not going to say the name of the bank. It's just know that it's across the street from my store. I don't normally go to the bank on a Tuesday, but I had some bills to pay. I needed to talk to some people over there, and I had a good deposit, so I went over there. And I walk my deposits across the street. It is literally 200 steps for me to go to the bank. That's how close the bank is to my office. Average everyday Tuesday. I go into the bank, I make my deposits. I go over to the loan officer, really nice lady, that's a good friend of mine. And I sit down with her for a minute, talk about some things we're needing here, and talk about what we're doing, her life, my life, that kind of stuff. About 15 minutes later, I get up and I walk out. When I walk out, I look across the street. There is a gospel rescue mission across the street, like a thrift store.
Yeah.
I see a guy wearing a black beanie cap, black sunglasses, black mask, a gray, heather gray shirt, and blue jeans and dark shoes.
Yeah.
Walking out of the parking lot, straight directly towards the front door of the bank.
So, would you say you're in condition yellow at the time?
I would say absolutely condition yellow, because every time I come out, I look both ways and I look across and I see this guy.
That's right.
There was one guy in the bank with a teller. There was about 6 or 7 people working inside the bank at the time. And I turn left and start walking back towards, but I'm watching this guy. I'm just kind of keeping an eye on him as I'm walking. He gets to the front door, he lifts his hands to grab the rail or the door pull, and I could notice he didn't have anything around his waist, and he had nothing in his hands. Because I saw, and then the guy had a red jacket inside the store. He was coming out and they bumped going through the door.
Oh wow!
This is how close I was watching this.
Oh, wow.
They trade places. He goes in. I take 2 more steps and try to look through the window, and I can't see. It's too bright outside. It's too dark inside. I can't see through. I said, I will not be able to live myself if they are injured or hurt right now, and I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on, but it just didn't look right.
Yeah.
So I turned around and went back in the bank. Now, don't do that. I had a suspicion that a bank robbery was about to happen. I carry ammo, I carry a gun, I carry a knife. I've been a cop for 21 years. I do not recommend to do what I just did. But I went back in. I went back over to the door, came in, I stood at the door, and he was at the far right teller. And there was about 6 teller bays and 4 were being used. And he was right up against the teller window. And then I saw the other tellers looking to their left, my right. So I stand at the door and I try and wave one of my friends down in there, one of the tellers. And I'm pointing at him, I'm trying to wave, and they won't pay attention to me. Then he turns around and looks at me. He literally turned his whole head and looked at me as I'm pointing at him. So I walk up, I'm probably 30 feet from him. I walk straight up to the teller that's directly in front of me, and he's down about 15, 20 feet this way. And I'm pointing at him, I said, is everything okay? And she finally turns her head back to me. And then he looks at me again, and then he takes off back out the door. So we never got within about 10 to 15 feet from each other.
So is there 2 exits out of that bank?
No, just one.
Okay.
He went back behind me, and I watched him go out the door.
Okay.
And I go, guys, what's going on right now? And then the teller picked up a napkin that said 15,000 and nobody gets hurt.
Oh wow.
On the napkin. So she put it back down, and I go, okay, so we had an attempted robbery right now. And then the manager jumps up, freaked out, says, lock those doors. And I said, no, not with me in it.
Yeah.
I look through the back windows of the bank and I see him walking westbound towards the railroad tracks, because we're right here on the railroad tracks. So I leave the bank, they lock the door behind me, and I go around the building and I see him crossing the railroad tracks, just over the railroad tracks, not on the road, just walking over the rails.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, I hope no train comes. So I start walking towards the railroad tracks. He gets over the tracks. We're probably 50 feet apart, maybe a little bit more. And then he starts running southbound down the rail as I'm walking over the tracks. My thought process at that moment was, if he gets away, he gets away. I'm not going to sit here and trip and fall, and I'm not going to sit here and run this guy. I'm not going to chase this guy, but I'm going to find out where he's going.
Yeah.
So he goes over, I get over the side, and then I see him dive through a chain link fence behind the Dodge dealership, and he continues on, and we have a bus stop on the other side of the tracks from the train station.
Okay.
So he's walking, and I'm watching him. I'm probably 50 feet from him. He's very recognizable. He's got a black knit cowl. He's got this bright gray shirt, sweatshirt on.
Yeah.
And then he's wearing these pants. And I see him, and I go, he just got in bus number 3. Because there's a white bus, then a blue bus.
Yeah.
And then there's bus number 3. So I keep my eyes on the bus. I go through the regular gate. I don't dive through the fence. And then I go over to the bus, and he's sitting in the back seat of the bus. He took his mask off. He took his glasses off. And he's sitting right there. His hair's all messed up from where he took the hood off.
Yeah.
He looks homeless guy.
Yeah.
And I go, don't move. I walked over to the front of the bus, and I held that. I told the bus drivers to stay away, and I held the door. He never moved from that seat. I called the bank, said, tell PD I'm with the suspect. He is in the bus, number 3, number 3553 was the bus number, I think.
Yeah.
And within a minute, they were there.
Wow.
2 cops went in the bus, snatched him up, cuffed him, came back out. He didn't have his mask. So the second cop came out without the suspect. I said, do me a favor. He goes, what? Could you go back there and check under the seat real quick? Because I think you're going to find a mask. I think you're going to find a beanie cap back there. Walked back there, bent over, and pulled them all up.
All the evidence.
I never had to touch my gun. It was with me the whole time. I kept my distance from this guy, And I didn't have any indication that he had a gun. And I couldn't walk up to his back of him, put a gun in his back and say, freeze.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know what he was doing there. It wasn't until after he left the building that she held up the paper that said she was being robbed.
Yeah.
So that would have been really embarrassing if I'd have come up with my gun in my back pocket, and put it in his bag and say, dude, you're done.
Yeah.
That would have been really embarrassing if he was just a customer.
Yeah.
Yeah. But was I willing to die or go to jail for what was about to happen? Absolutely.
Yeah.
There are some great people that work at that bank. I've dealt with them for over a decade at that bank. I know them all personally. I know their families. I know that one just had a child 5 months ago. I would not let that happen to those people that day. Today, it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm telling you right now, condition yellow saves lives.
It does.
I went back into the bank after it was all done. Cops came over, and then I went in with the cops, and I said, hey guys, we got him over at the bus. He's in custody now. They all start clapping and cheering. Condition yellow saves lives. Paying attention when you're out there. Because I can tell you right now that the thousands of times I've been on this walk to the bank, I have mentally gone over. If somebody comes up with a knife or something with me to rob me as I'm going to the bank, I always keep it hidden in my pants. I'll tuck it in my pants or something like that, so my deposit bag isn't really showing.
Yeah.
But I mentally have gone through that scenario. And then sometimes there's a little bit of a line in the bank that drives because the door's to the back of me.
Oh, okay.
And I stand sideways so I can watch both. And people say that's paranoid.
No.
It's a bank.
Yeah, it's a bank. It's being in condition yellow.
Me walking out and seeing a guy all messed up with a beanie on a 100-degree day sent off fireworks in my brain. And I was not going to let that happen that day. No shots fired, no gun even shown. The guy didn't even know I have a gun, but he was scared to death of me.
Yeah.
I mean, I am kind of scary looking, I guess. Just know that I could have immediately gone out and called PD and said there could be a robbery going on inside of the bank. But I didn't know.
Yeah.
That's all I need is me to be a racist and call some guy with a mask on going into a bank, because there is people out there still wearing those face diapers. Okay. So I just didn't want to assume, and I wanted to make sure, and I still wasn't sure until she held that paper up.
Yeah.
By that time, he was already out of the bank. So my presence alone, and me pointing at him, was all it took for him to get spooked and gone.
Yeah.
Do not get involved. Be a good witness. I made that decision. Should I have made it? I can't look back. It could have gone really bad for me and my family. It could have been very bad for me and my family. But I could not let that happen to my people over there. I could not. Finally, don't be a hero. If you have the opportunity to escape, escape. But for me, there was too many question marks. Is this guy legit? Is this guy robbing the bank? This does not look right. Let me go just investigate this just real quick to make sure. Yeah. And then when I saw all the girls doing this and not paying attention to me, oh, it's on like Donkey Kong.
Yeah. I don't think that you're paranoid. I think it's because of all the training you've had as a sheriff and just being aware of your surroundings. You were paid for many years to observe. So you were observing, and you still do that. You can't get that out of your mind because you're trained to do that for many years. So for those people that are out there, be in condition yellow. Don't be that person in condition white, constantly on your phone, not paying attention to your surroundings, because it will bring harm to you, and you will be a standing victim.
Especially if you're with your family, you've got to be that 6.
Yeah.
You got to be that person that's aware of what's going on. And all of this is 1 in a million chance. I never go talk to the loan officer.
Yeah.
And I stayed longer in the bank. And I don't go to the bank on Tuesdays.
Hey.
I don't go to the bank on Tuesdays.
The good Lord put you there for a
Holy
reason.
mackerel. Right?
Yeah.
Coming out, I saw it, the bells went off, and I had to go make sure that I was right, and I didn't want to be right,
Yeah.
but I was right. I never got close to the guy, except for when he was in the bus and I was at the window going,
Yeah.
and he did not want to come off the bus. He stayed there till PD got. He's a parolee out of Fresno. He had a knife on him, so he got violated for that. He got violated for the robbery, and we don't know if federal charges are coming against him. But what I do know is, I love my bank, and that the people in there are like family to me because we have been around them for decades.
Yeah.
And the best people in the world at my bank. And it's not some big corporate bank, it's just a small bank, and everybody knows everybody in that bank. And I just couldn't let it happen.
Yeah.
So if you get anything out of this, please understand. Condition yellow when you're out and about. Do not get involved, do not get involved. But if you're willing to die or go to jail for what you're about to do, then there is no tomorrow, and you've got to take care of business. There you go. That is the incident that happened at my bank here just a couple days ago in Hanford. And I don't wish that on anybody, and I hope I never have to do that again.
Yeah.
If you have any comments, questions, please ask me below. But that is as simple as it was. Nothing too exciting. But we got the guy, and no money was taken, and everybody at that bank is safe. Praise God.
That's a good day.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, and thank you for watching Reviews It.